Alluring in their air of mystery and intrigue, tales of the jinn have captivated people for generations. Where did the jinn come from, and what are they exactly? Elementals are known for being magical and supernatural beings, residing in magical places and possessing unique abilities. These supernatural sultans all seem to crave the attention of us mortal humans, and this shows by how they are more than willing to enslave themselves to some people, until they can please them by granting them the wishes that we all know them so well for. But some of these multi-dimensional beings, they use their powers in much more sinister ways. Welcome back to Damaged by Design. Today we're going to talk about the origins of the jinn, otherwise known as the genie, and their significance in today's culture. There are typically 4 main types of genies. There are a few subspecies that I'll mention in a bit. But the main 4 types, they possess the powers of wind, fire, earth and water. The Murid are known for being great storytellers, and they dwell in underwater areas. There are the Dao, who have domain over the earth. These guys are known for being quite greedy. There are the Efreet, who are known for being fearless war makers. These guys have dominion over fire. And then there are the jinn. These are the ones that we most commonly get shown, depicted as some kind of a cloud formation representing air. Most modern Westerners connect genies with lamp wishes and peculiar supernatural abilities. This is mostly due to the works of media that we all grew up seeing. Typically, the genie plays a pivotal role in our family-friendly films, whereas the jinn are usually found lurking in the sci-fi and horror sections, along with some other cult classics. It turns out that the genie are magical beings with a fantasizing history, a history that dates back over 5,000 years. They can range from evil tricksters to helpful ghosts and anywhere in between. These days, people still seem to believe in ghosts and even demonic entities, but yet think of the idea of genies and the jinn as nothing but spook stories. Even though most modern day believers in genies don't hold out hope that they'll have any wishes granted anytime soon, many people do actually still think that they may exist. Genies or jinns are descendants of mythical beings that first appeared about the 3rd century BC. Jinn is a magical being with intelligence and free will who dwell in harmony with nature and possess a wide range of abilities. Some of them are kind and helpful, doing what they are supposed to do, while others are bad and they sneak up on people, trying to cause all sorts of havoc. A few jinns are purely malevolent, while the majority fall somewhere in the middle. It's even said that the jinn have their own set of faiths and beliefs, alongside their own legal codes and laws that they use while running their own communities. God himself is said to have fashioned the jinn from fires of a soaring wind, giving them their ephemeral and unpredictable qualities, like smokeless flames. Us humans, on the other hand, were fashioned from mud and clay, making us solid and unyielding, rather than fluid and enigmatic like the jinn. To get a notion of the difference, think of something like a solid structure, a clay pot maybe, versus a mysterious warm wind formed from a distant desert over a mountain pass. There are numerous kinds of ethereal beings that make up the jinn's race. One of the most rebellious jinns is known as Shaitan, who some believe may be the model for Satan. And the Ifrit is another type of genie. These are known for being very powerful as well as extremely crafty and sneaky. The Mirid or the Murid jinn is the most common type of jinn that are usually found in lamps or jars, maybe bottles. They're the most common type that we see in our folk tales. There is a considerable deal of discrepancy in the accounts of the abilities between various jinns. It's also been reported that these entities are able to change formation and to appear to us as almost anything that we can imagine. It's said that they can shapeshift into people, objects, and even all kinds of animals. Usually it's spirits animals such as wolves, birds, and even reptiles. They've been known to make themselves disappear or even teleport themselves between places. There is one old story that describes the building of magic carpets. It's said that the jinn, they cast spells over these creations and then they direct them to fly. One legend claims that the famously named magic carpets that genies used to fly on, they came in a variety of sizes. The largest of these magic carpets that was recorded says that it was a whopping 27 miles long. The genie legends often have the traits of a trickster who takes pleasure in both good as well as bad jokes. Because they are made of wind and fire, they may also alter their appearance at will, including preferences for either exact human duplicates or some kind of a warped resemblance to other species, including both humans as well as animals. However, there are discernible trends in the forms that they take. According to this legend, no matter what shape they take, the jinn always have thick fur on their legs. It was commonly believed that due to the long hair on their legs that most genies could be identified by the fact that they would always be trying to cover their legs up. However, jinn can also take on more eerie and even outlandish appearances. These descriptions don't exactly inspire confidence in approaching them for help or even granting any wishes, does it? Even mental distress has been studied by several professionals at psychiatric hospitals, where they were examining the role of the jinn in studies on topics such as spirit possession. The jinn have been credited with the ability to take part in possession of a person's mental health. And in recent years, mental illnesses have been associated with these type of demonic entities. Legends say that the jinn were wiped out because they made God angry. Only the true believers managed to survive. The last of the jinn disappeared and scattered themselves around the world, usually only showing themselves to humans when they are up to no good. And although their cities and civilizations have all fallen to ruin, the jinn themselves are still supposed to exist even today. It's only that they aren't as widespread as they once were. Attempting to trace the origins of the jinn is a massive undertaking that yields few concrete results. But we are searching through thousands of years of stories, recorded and only carried forward orally, all from different individuals and civilizations throughout the years. It's difficult to discover any reputable or consistent sources. However, these ideas provide us with a potentially fruitful lead to pursue. We may still be able to learn quite a bit about genies and why they are always associated with lamps and wishes. The specialists who investigate this stuff tend to differ on the specifics, as tracing language history is not an exact science. However, in the genie world, we'll accept any and all data that we can acquire. Around the turn of the 1st century AD, the Roman Empire expanded to encompass what is now known as modern Syria. Here in this territory, the locals had a slightly different take on the jinn legends that we mentioned earlier. These people believed in their own guardian spirits. They referred to these gods as GENIE. These are said to have kept a watchful eye out for the well-being of individuals as well as their household within their communities. Here there are no evil spirits watching over humanity, nor are there any curses, and no requests are granted. This understanding of the jinn was furthered by Roman civilization and carried through to the present Western world. A genius is a single form of genie. A person's genius or guardian spirit was once credited with the intelligence as well as all creative aspects and talents of a person. Over the past 1600 years or so, this definition has only grown in prominence. The widespread belief in genies in the early 1700s were quite different from the old Middle Eastern counterparts. The Arabian Nights, also known as 1001 Nights, is a collection of tales that first made their way to Europe in the early 18th century. And this is still widely read and retold all around the world to this day. The first edition, that was printed in French, came out in 1704. This was the first time that Arabian Nights was presented to a European audience. And following its popularity during the next decade, 11 more volumes were also published. It wasn't until a decade or so later, under the title Arabian Nights Entertainment, that the English translations were published. But still, the jinn was linked to demonic or ancient spirits, while the genie was more akin to the Latin concept of a guardian spirit. Referring to jinn as genies is simply a common misconception. A genie may be a mysterious spirit from the Arabian world, or it could also be a benign spirit that looks out for humans. The genies are stereotyped as harmless, amusing and eccentric characters. But this is just a result of a combination of well-known legends and linguistic mistakes. In the 12th century, there is a legend of the Queen of Sheba who supposedly had a human father as well as a jinn mother. Also, there are tales of a feminine jinn. These lustful entities are said to control the things that we admire. They lustfully seek out passion and they treat the body as nothing but an object. They seem to have a complete disregard for people's minds of whom they enter. They treat people's bodies as if it were their own, or as if they have some rights over the person. Breaking down relationships. Sometimes there are types of lustful jinn that feel that they are bound to this body in some way, causing all kinds of problem between cohabitating partners. However, the original old concept of genies does still remain. It seems that our memories of the past are still very much alive. And I don't know about you, but when something has a truth to it, it resonates with me. There are innumerable jinn stories and many of them contradict one another. And this changes what is thought to be true over time. It's possible that the genies who grant wishes in a simple and pleasant manner are only just a more recent form of this creature, and we'll be diving into some more of them very soon. Thank you all for stopping by. Don't forget to like, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you tap the bell on the way out. And until next time, it's goodbye from Damaged by Design.